As part of the program and contribution to the 8th of March, we are showing at Kunstraum Innsbruck a retrospective with new commissioned artworks by the Greek-Armenian artist Aikaterini Gegisian. Inspired by the agricultural narrative of the gardening and garden, Aikaterini Gegisian creates evocative collages that bring different forms and formats from extended photography, video, and also textile works. Showing Aikaterini Gegisian's sensual and analytical art, Seeding Circles is about small things such as vernacular practices, alternative visual cultures, gardening, decorative domestic arts that are the same important in the big circles of life, of nature, and of art.
The exhibition Seeding Circles came together through our conversation with Ivana, and it started with her visit to the studio in Thessaloniki and the garden. And in our initial conversation, there are two works that she was interested in, that I have been working over the last 5 years, which is the film, The Manipulator Vlog. It's a series of 6 films that I started as a YouTube channel during the pandemic, thinking, oh, this is like some kind of funny, ironic way for me to question the change in my lifestyle, which meant that I started becoming gardening and cultivating the land, but also question how does an artist create content within the kind of larger social media production. So I felt that it was a kind of ironic way to question artistic authorship. The other thing that came in that initial visit that was highlighted by Ivana was the series Goddesses, the Goddesses. I had made few of them, but I hadn't really completed the series. And the Goddesses was a series where I started a long time ago. I think initially it was really 2014, and it was my first trial to make collages with dried flowers. I wasn't sure why I wanted to collage with dried flowers, but I was collecting dried flowers as a kind of a childhood act, but also as a reference to kind of understandings of femininity. So the Goddesses for me represented a way of rethinking representation of women, but women that are not really defined as beautiful or as important or as powerful or as successful. And so women in various disguises, from older women to younger women, working women, women that are living their everyday life, and reimagine them as a kind of empowered. And this reimagination took form. I was drawing in this reimagination from regal and religious and other types of iconography. So these two works were how this exhibition started, the exhibition Seeding Circles, and then the connecting device came through another series of works, which I call What Happens If We Only See in Circles, ? So you see the circles comes from this work, where I collage with adhesive dots, with little round dots. And in this work, which is still not complete yet as a kind of whole series, I bring together images from landscapes and images of animals from wildlife, magazines and books that I collage with adhesive dots, either sometimes trying to kind of create new color combinations like coloring in, and again, a childhood activity, or I try to create forms or expand the image. And in What Happens If We Only See in Circles, it's a questioning of photography, in the sense that photography, the lens is a circular thing, but we actually create square or rectangular images. So one sense is that. how come the eye that is round ends up creating images that are square, and also questioning how photography created this idea of a kind of realistic capturing of environments and nature and animals. And I wanted to bring in the mythical and magical of capturing nature and animals. And this is what I suppose brings together also the goddesses, this idea of creating different mythical, new imaginations, new worlds, new being in the world. And the sitting circles and coming all of these things together with older bodies of work, the images are becoming like seeds in the garden that come together into new combinations, and they are giving rise to this new world, new image world, and where these women are existing. Collage is very central in my practice. It has been central in my practice from 2010 onwards, and it takes multiple forms. So we can say that it's a kind of expanded collage practice that started with collaging images, but then expanded to making video collages, and then expanded into making textile collages and curtains, and I don't know where else it will expand. It also has taken in other moments a sculptural form. So for me, initially collage started, and this is a kind of consistent element in my practice. It started as a way of bringing together diverse material, but bringing together diverse material in types of dialogue. I was interested in bringing together images that are not normally come together. So initially, for example, I will collage material from Soviet Armenian archives with Cold War images from the US, which are oppositional types of visual cultures, which are never really thought of coming together. So this was one element in thinking of collaging as a kind of extensive, expanded form, as a way of thinking and as a dialogue that brings together diverse material. And collage also for me is not, I don't have a signature technique. A lot of the time collage artists develop a very specific way of bringing material together. For me, the collage forms change depending on the nature of the original material. So I'm always thinking of the aesthetic qualities of the original material. If there are 90s, the forms change, so the collage method is changing. And there are a lot of different ways that I have methods that I employ with collaging. So you have things like juxtaposition of material without any interference, this layering of images one on top of the other. I have worked with isolating specific objects and imposing them into the landscape, and this forms is more like closer to a surrealist way of collaging or thinking. I have worked with adhesive dots, which is very much present in the exhibition, and also I have worked with dried flowers. All of these different ways of working with collage are present in the exhibition. I was never drawn to specific visual cultures because of any forms of nostalgia. I was drawn to specific cultures originally as a way of capturing specific kind of ideas about nations, histories, geographies, landscapes, people, women, animals. So I was drawn mostly to the way that photography contributes to construction of specific identities, cultural, national, gender. As I have moved to, like my practice matured and I have been working with this idea of photography constructing identities for a long time, I realized that what I'm doing actually is going back to this mainly popular cultural material, because I'm interested in things that people have seen. I'm interested in things that are circulating and shaping the way we see the world. What draws me to those materials is that I see them as documents of a patriarchal gaze, as documents of this kind of imperial, disembodied, usually white male gaze that has constructed a specific understanding of the world, and that understanding has shaped our perception. So in the collaging, in this kind of bringing together these oppositional, fragmentary forces into dialogues, what I'm trying to do is create this kind of new image worlds where women, for example, can find a space of expression, can exist in the future, or also I am also interested in reimagining these images of the patriarchal gaze, which has shaped very specific understanding of what it is visual pleasure. Visual pleasure is usually, we understand it as women being objectified for the male gaze. I want to create a sense of visual pleasure where it is constructed by women. So women have agency in not only existing in a world, but they shape it in a way that visual pleasure becomes kind of acceptable, I suppose.